Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome back to the 1985 World Series in season ticket baseball. We are live at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, Quebec, Canada for Game 4 of this 1985 World Series between the Detroit Tigers and the Montreal Expos. In Game 3 last night, the Tigers got back into this series with a huge 6-3 victory over the Expos, as they needed to work on converting their base runners into runs. As ID Jester is first to join us here at Olympic Stadium. This crowd is absolutely electric tonight at Olympic Stadium, as they know their Expos are on the verge of history tonight. So, without any further ado, what say we jump right into the action? But before we get to that, if the fans here at Olympic Stadium will please rise, remove their head coverings, we will have the playing of both national anthems. First, the American National Anthem. And next up, we will have the playing of the Canadian National Anthem. Getting a whole production, Phoenix making the rest of us look bad. It's not... we've all got our own little quirks with all of this stuff. Plus, when I get this late into a replay, I like to lean into the pageantry a little bit more, including the anthems. But, before we get into it, I will mention, and I know you voted Artie Jester, but if you're watching this later, and this is still before the World Series is over, go ahead and vote on the poll for the Summer 2025 project. You might be influencing what project comes to the channel next. The more votes a project gets, the more dice that project will roll during the 1985 season recap and reveal show. I will also mention about that season recap and reveal show, I've got that penciled in for Sunday, April 20th. That'll be 2 weeks after after what would be Game 7 of the World Series. So that's, as of now, I'm penciling that in as the date for the 1985 season recap and reveal show. So, with that, we'll finish setting scene here. As I mentioned, the Expos do lead the series 2-1. Emotions and the stakes are high tonight. Tigers win, we suddenly are looking at a best of 3 heading into the weekend. Expos win, They could be trying to win the World Series on Saturday. Which will happen? Only the dice will know, and the only way to find out is to get into this one. So let's go for it. Starting pitcher for the Montreal Expos tonight is their number one starter and the winner of Game 1, Bryn Smith. 18-5 with a 2.91 ERA, 222 and a third innings pitched, 127 strikeouts, 41 walks, and 12 home runs in 85. As the rest of the Expos get loose behind Smith, the Tigers lineup tonight is trying to guarantee a return trip to Detroit for at least Game 6. Let's meet them now. Leading off, we have got Chet Lemon in center field. Barbaro Garby is at third base. Kirk Gibson is in right field. And Lou Whitaker's at second base. He's returning to the lineup after straining his neck in Game 1. Dave Bergman is at first base. Lance Parrish is catching. Larry Herndon's in left field. Doug Baker's at shortstop. And our starting pitcher tonight is Jack Morris. We'll meet him when we get to the bottom of the first. And if I end up with baseball, then you might do a little Title Bout 2 tournament. Want to see what happens with the reveal show first. I appreciate that, Jester. And at this point, I think that April 20th is going to be a pretty firm date. Because like I said, that's just under 2 weeks after what would be the prospective Game 7 of the 1985 World Series. So that's why I've got that. It's not quite locked in, but at this point it's basically locked in. We'll make that official once the 85 World Series wraps up. But in order to wrap that up, we have to get through Game 4, so let's go right into it. Leading off for the Tigers tonight is Chet Lemon. 265 average, 18 home runs, 68 RBIs in 85. We are using blue, white, and red dice tonight. Expos are the home team. Game 4 of the 1985 World Series. Expos lead 2-1. Tigers win. We start a best of 3 over the weekend. Expos win. They might win the World Series this weekend. Which team will move one step closer to this 1985 World Series title? Only the dice know for sure. And as Smith looks into Sal Butera for the sign, it's time to go to the same place that every other game starts. That is with the first pitch. So Smith, take it away. He will take it away after all of that with a 562. That'll be over to Hubie Brooks. And that'll be a ground ball right to Brooks. He'll go to his left for that one. Take his time. Throw it over to first. 1 out in the inning. And we are underway here at Olympic Stadium. Barbaro Garby, now the batter for the Tigers. 257 average, 6 home runs, 29 RBIs in 85. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup. And here comes the pitch. That is a 204 against a righty that'll turn into a 404. And Garby will ground that over to third base. Tim Wallach will get to that one. He'll throw that across the diamond. 2 outs in the inning. Kirk Gibson, ever dangerous, now the batter for the Tigers. 287 average, 29 home runs, 97 RBIs in 85. Smith gets the sign from Butera. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Smith will set, and he will pitch. That is a 552. That's over to Wallach once again, and that'll be a ground ball right to him. Wallach will take his time, throw that across the diamond once again, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers here in the top of the first. Score is now Detroit 0, Montreal coming to bat. Tigers became the first team in Game 3 to do something nobody else has done in this playoffs so far. That's beat the Expos. That's beat the Expos at Olympic Stadium. We'll see if they can continue that tonight. Starting pitcher for the Detroit Tigers tonight, their number one starter and the loser of Game 1, Jack Morris. 16-11 with a 3.33 ERA. 257 innings pitched, 191 strikeouts, 110 walks, 21 home runs in 85. The Expos lineup trying to get us back here for the Expos to clinch at home on Saturday. Let's meet them next. Leading off, we've got Herm Winningham in center field. Hubie Brooks is at shortstop. Tim Raines is in left field. Vance Law is at second base. Tim Wallach's at third base. Andre Dawson in right field. Terry Francona at first base. Sal Butera catching. And Bryn Smith, the starting pitcher, gets a pitcher batting card, just the same as Morris does. Leading off for the Expos tonight is Herm Winningham. .237 average, 3 home runs, 21 RBIs, and 85. And as usual, Jester, I will see you at the top of the second. Morris will look to Parrish for the sign. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Winningham will set, and he will pitch. That is a .270 against the lefty. .270. Winningham's going to get frozen by a curveball for strike 3. That is out number 1. Hubie Brooks, now the batter for the Expos. .269 average, 13 home runs, 100 RBIs, and 85. Morris looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a .409 against a righty. .409 is going to be grounded over to short. Grabbing that at shortstop is going to be Baker. He will take his time, throw that over to first. Out number 2 in the inning. Tim Raines, now the batter with 2 outs. .320 average, 11 home runs, 41 RBIs, and 85. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a .479. That's going to be against a righty. .479 is going to be a fly ball into center field. Lemon will get under that one for the Tigers. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Expos here in the bottom of the first. No score at Olympic Stadium after 1. Baseball season's winning by a lot, and I don't think that'll change. Remember, though, Jester, I've mentioned this before, but that will only influence how many dice each season will roll, not necessarily. The poll isn't to decide the project. It's to decide how many dice each season will roll, and each project will roll, and I'll explain how that works during the 1985 season recap and reveal show. Leading off for the Tigers in the top of the second as Smith finishes up his warm-up tosses is Lou Whitaker. .279 average, 21 home runs, 73 RBIs, and 85. Smith knows he's got to keep this game nailed down tight. He will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a .164, and in Whitaker's return to the lineup, he will get that into right field, but Dawson will track that one down easily, having a little bit of room before the track. 1 out in the inning. As Whitaker returns to the lineup after straining his neck on a double play slide in Game 1. Dave Bergman, now the batter. .179 average, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, and 85. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. He will set, here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a .610. That'll send us over to Olympic Stadium. And Bergman's going to get frozen by a slider for strike 3, out number 2. Two outs in the inning, and Lance Parrish, now the batter. .273 average, 28 home runs, 98 RBIs, and 85. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. He will set, here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a .544. That's over to second base for Law, and that'll be a ground ball right to Law. He will take his time, throw that over to first, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers here in the top of the second. Still no score at Olympic Stadium as we get set for the bottom of the second. Yep, that's the exact idea. Higher chance by having more dice. Not a given, but higher chance. Indeed. Morris finishes up his warm-up tosses as Vance Law steps into the batter's box. 266 average, 10 home runs, 52 RBIs, and 85. Morris looking at Parrish for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 115. That'll turn into a 315. And Law swings through the high heat for strike 3. That is out number 1. Second strikeout by Morris tonight. Morris had 191 of them in 85. Tim Wallach, now the batter for the Expos. 260 average, 22 home runs, 81 RBIs in 85. Morris looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. A 455 against a righty. 455. That's going to be grounded over to third. Picking that one up for the Tigers is going to be Garby. He will throw that across the diamond to first. 2 outs in the inning. Andre Dawson, now the batter for the Expos. 255 average, 23 home runs, 91 RBIs, and 85. Morris looking in at Parrish for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and he will deal. That is a 643. That'll turn into a 653 and be grounded over to third. Once again, Garby getting to that one. He'll throw that across the diamond again, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Expos as well in the bottom of the second. Still no score here in Montreal, as we've got both pitchers putting up goose eggs after 2. Both teams playing very tentatively so far here. Neither one wants to make the mistake. If Detroit makes that mistake, they could be facing a loss of the World Series. Expos lose, we're facing a best of 3. Leading off the top of the third is Larry Herndon. 244 average, 12 home runs, 37 RBIs, and 85. As Smith gets his warm-up tosses out of the way. Smith will now get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 438. And a 438, that's going to be grounded right back to Smith. He will take his time, throw that over to Francona at first. 1 out in the inning. Herndon does not hit a lot against righties on his split card, on the split section of his card. Doug Baker, now the batter. 185 average, no home runs, 1 RBI and 85. Smith looking into Butera for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 490, and a 490 against a righty. That's going to be a called strike 3 on Baker as Smith gets a changeup to go for strike 3. That is out number 2. Just catches enough of the inside corner, and Butera did a great job framing that pitch. 2 outs, and Jack Morris, now the batter. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 531. That'll be over to Francona at first base, and that'll be a ground ball right to him. He will wave off Smith coming over to cover the bag. Francona will take that over himself, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers here in the top of the third. Montreal coming up to bat in the bottom of the third, still with goose eggs on the board. Just going to check, make sure the camera's still recording, because I've had problems with the cameras locking up in the past. Terry Francona, now the batter as Morris finishes up his warm-up tosses. 267 average, 2 home runs, 31 RBIs, and 85. Morris will look in at Parrish for the sign. Both pitchers pitching goose eggs. Morris will set, and he will pitch. That is a 164, and a 164 is going to be a leadoff walk as Morris loses control of a curveball for ball 4, and Francona will trot to first with the first base runner for either team today. Infield will go to double play depth, and the batter now is Sal Butera. 200 average, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs in 85. Butera is actually a decent bunt, but with Smith due up next, I think Butera's got to swing away. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 153. And a 153, that's going to be another walk as Morris loses control of a curveball this time for ball 4. Butera will trot to first. Francona will go to second. Batter now is Bryn Smith. And the corners are going to come in expecting him to bunt. And Smith is going to bunt. As Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, he will pitch, and here's Smith with the bunt. Let's see, 7, 14, and 6 is 20. And on a bunt, a 20 is going to be a good sacrifice. That'll go right over to first base where Bergman will get to that one. The only play Bergman will have is to take that to the bag himself. 1 out in the inning. As everybody moves up, the infield will have to play in with the possibility of the first run. Here's Winningham. Winningham tonight is 0 for 1. Francona with a speed of 2. Let me check on arms here. 0, 2, 2, 0. Francona is going on contact. He's got the first Expos run of the game in his back pocket. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 595. That'll be over to Gibson. That'll be a 595. And that'll be a fly ball to Gibson. Gibson back near the track. He will catch that. 2 outs in the inning. Here comes Francona from tagging up from third. He's going to slide in. He will score. Francona's safe. Butera goes to third as well. That'll be 2 outs in the inning. But the Expos, once I get Digital Diamond to catch up, Winningham's out. Francona will score. Butera to third. 1-0 Expos. Stadium cheers. Yay! And here's Brooks. Brooks tonight is 0 for 1. Morris knows he's got to shake that one off. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 153. And a 153 is going to be Morris's third walk of the inning as he loses control of a slider this time for ball 4. Tigers maybe looking a little shaky here. Batter now is Raines. Raines tonight is 0 for 1. He flew out to center. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud, hoping the Expos can capitalize on this opportunity they've been given. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 406. And against a righty, Morris has, with his 4th walk of the inning, has now walked the bases full of Expos. Wow. Morris might be picking a very bad night to be having this many control issues. Batter now is Law. Law tonight is 0 for 1. If Ben Witz was here, If Ben Witz was here tonight, he would probably be biting his fingernails like crazy right now. Expos have the bases loaded. Law could blow this game wide open right here. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Morris will set, and he will pitch. That is a 397, and about Law blowing the game wide open. He just did that with a boom! That ball is hit high! That ball is hit deep! That ball is gone! Grand slam, Vance Law. And the Expos must have been seeing red after somebody came in to their stadium and beat them, because that is a grand slam by Vance Law. Everybody coming to the plate. 5-0 Expos. Stadium cheers. Yay! Everybody mobs Law and gives him high fives at the plate. Tigers bench cannot believe what they see. Batter now is Wallach. Wallach tonight is 0 for 1. All of a sudden, 5-0 Expos on the gigantic grand slam. Morris has got to have instant amnesia from that one, or this is going to be a long night for the Tigers. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and here comes the pitch. That is a 162. And a 162 is not Morris having instant amnesia. That's going to be a walk, as Wallach will extend the inning. This is very bad news for the Tigers, but the Tigers are going to get some activity going in the bullpen, and the Tigers are thinking that. Time to pull Morris. But they want to get some activity in the bullpen, and getting loose for the Tigers is going to be Mickey Mahler. The Tigers need some really long relief tonight. I don't like to just say pitchers coming out of the game right away. I like to usually use a few at-bats to get the pitcher warming up in the bullpen. Batter now is Dawson. Dawson tonight is 0 for 1. 5-0 Expos here in the bottom of the third. This could be a long night for the Tigers. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 3-0-4. And Dawson's going to get frozen by a changeup for strike 3. That will retire the side. But man, you talk about damage done here in the inning. 5 runs on 1 hit, 5 walks. A grand slam by Vance Law, and a sacrifice fly. 5-0 Expos after 3. Wow. Yeah, like I said, I think the Expos saw red that somebody came into their house and beat them last night in Game 3. Nobody had done that in the postseason prior to that. Smith will get his warm-up tosses in, as Chet Lemon will lead off the top of the fourth for the Tigers. Lemon is 0 for 1. Mahler continuing to throw in the Tigers' bullpen. Whether Morris comes out to start the fourth is anybody's guess. Smith will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 666. The number of the beast at Olympic Stadium. Grounds that over to first base. Francona will get that one. Smith will come over to cover. 1 out in the inning. Garby, now the batter for the Expos, or for the Tigers. Garby's 0 for 1. Smith pitching for the Expos, now with a 5-0 lead. Smith has got to be feeling mighty good, seeing his offense give him some help. Smith will get the sign from Butera, and he will pitch. A 448 for Garby, and a 448 is going to get grounded over to third. Wallach will grab that one, throw it across the diamond. That is out number 2. Gibson, now the batter. Gibson is 0 for 1 tonight. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 207. And against a lefty, 207 is going to get grounded over to second. Law will pick that one up. He'll throw that over to first with no problems. That will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers here in the top of the fourth. 5-0 Expos as we get set for the bottom of the fourth. Morris will come out to start the fourth, but that's mostly to give Mahler a little bit of time to get loose in the bullpen. Leading off for the Expos is Francona. Francona tonight has a walk. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. 5-0 Expos. Morris will set, and he will pitch. That is a 192. And a 192 is going to be a bloop single for Francona. He will get on with a seeing eye single. Infield will go to double play depth. Batter now is Butera. Butera tonight has a walk. Francona, not much of a threat to steal. He will hold. Mahler continuing to throw for the Tigers. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 325. And a 325 is going to be grounded over to third. Garvey will grab that one. He'll throw that to Whitaker. That'll get Francona. Whitaker will try to make the relay, but that won't be in time. 1 out in the inning. As Butera will reach on the fielder's choice. And the batter now is Smith. Smith had a sacrifice hit back to first his first time up, and the infield is going to bring the corners in, expecting the bunt. And Smith is going to square around to lay down another bunt. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the pitch, and here's the bunt. Let's see, 14, 18, and 8 is 25. And that's going to be a possible sacrifice. All runners advance, batter out if the arm plus all 3 dice is greater than 10 plus the runner's speed. So that's bunted over to third base. Garvey with an arm of a 0. Smith's got a speed of 0, so if he can beat a 10 over, Smith will get on with a single. No, Smith will get thrown out at first. 2 outs in the inning. But a good sacrifice by Smith to move Butera over to second base. Two outs in the inning, and the batter now is Winningham. Winningham is 0 for 1 with a strikeout and a sacrifice fly. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Morris will set, and he will pitch. That is a 574. That's into left field. That is Herndon going after that one. And that'll be a fly ball into left field. Herndon making that catch on the run. He is coming in, but he will get to that one, and that will retire the side. A hit and a sacrifice hit, but the Expos can't get anything out of it, but they still have a 5-0 lead after 4. Still no box yet. This is crazy. If I don't get it this weekend, you'll stop by with a slip and cause holy hell on them on Monday. Well, believe me, Jester, I've had eyes on that box. I've even signed up for text notifications, and it looks like as of I just refreshed it now, and it's been in transit ever since Sunday. This is getting completely ridiculous. Yeah, I just saw the same thing. Smith finishes up his warm-up tosses. Batter now is Whitaker. Whitaker tonight is 0 for 1. I have been keeping an eye on USPS. They have something about an update about severe weather in the southeast. And supposedly winter storms in my neck of the woods, but just going to look out the window real quick, and there's not a speck of snow on the ground up here. No ice, no nothing. So I don't know what kind of winter weather they're talking about at the USPS. But let's come back to baseball. We can rant about why it's taking USPS so long to get that box up to me. Smith will get the sign from Butera coming back to Olympic Stadium. Smith will set, and he will pitch. Smith with a 345. That'll go over to Whitaker's card, and that'll get popped up on the infield. Wallach in foul territory. He will make the catch. That's 1 out in the inning. And it's almost getting to a point with that box, Chester, where I'm probably going to I might even post in Tack Up and be like, Holy crap, look what finally came in. Batter now is Bergman. Bergman tonight is 0 for 1. Smith looks to be in solid control of this game. He will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 683. And a 683 is going to be a base hit for Bergman. That's the first base runner for the Tigers tonight. Expos will go to double play depth. Batter now is Parrish. Parrish tonight is 0 for 1. Bergman, not much of a threat to steal. He will hold. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Smith will set, and he will pitch. That is a 425 against a righty. 425 is going to be grounded right back to Smith. Bergman with a good lead. He will get to second. Smith will throw that over to Francona at first. 2 outs in the inning. Herndon, now the batter. Herndon tonight is 0 for 1. Smith trying to get out of the inning. He will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 204. And against a righty, 204, Herndon's going to walk as Smith loses control of a curveball for ball 4. Hopefully for the Expos' sake, Smith doesn't start having an inning similar to what Morris did in the bottom of the third. In the bottom of the third. Here's Baker. Baker's 0 for 1 tonight. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Smith will set, and he will pitch. That is a 550. That'll be over to third base. Wallach will get to that one with no trouble. It's a hot grounder right to him. He will take his time, throw that over to first, and that will retire the side. A hit and a walk, but the Expos hold it down, make sure the Tigers don't get anything out of it. 5-0 Montreal, heading into the bottom of the 5th. Tigers trying to ride the momentum of the Game 3 victory. Expos trying to crush the momentum and get back to 1 game from the World Series. Morris will continue to pitch, but Sparky Anderson's going to have Morris on a very short leash here starting in the 5th. Here's Brooks. Brooks tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. 5-0 Expos here at Olympic Stadium. Morris will set, and he will pitch. That is a 469, and against a righty, 469. Brooks is going to get into that one. That'll get into the gap. He'll be safe at second with a double. That'll be a leadoff double for Brooks. Batter now is Raines. Raines tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. I think on the next run scored, that is going to be it for Morris. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 642. That'll turn into a 652 and be grounded over to third. Grabbing that is going to be Garby. He will throw that over to first for the first out of the inning. Brooks will make third on the throw. The infield has got to play in. Batter now is the owner of the Grand Salami. That is Law. Law is 1 for 2, but as mentioned, that one was the aforementioned Grand Slam. Brooks is going on contact. Morris will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Morris will set, and he will pitch. That is a 194. And a 194 is going to be a seeing eye single that'll get out of the infield. As Brooks will score on the play. Brooks will score on the play. Law will go to first. 6-0 Expos. Stadium cheers. Yay! Batter now is Wallach. Wallach is 0 for 1 with a walk, but that is going to be it for Morse. He has gotten shelved tonight, and the Tigers are going to the bullpen. The Tigers need to stop the bleeding here. Coming in to pitch for the Tigers is going to be Mickey Mahler. 1-2 with a 1.74 ERA. 20 2/3 innings pitched, 14 strikeouts, 4 walks, 2 home runs in 85. His job is to eat up some innings and stop the bleeding for the Tigers. Wallach has got excellent power. He's swinging away. Law not a threat to steal. He will hold. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 1-15, 3-15, and Wallach's going to swing through a changeup for strike 3. That is out number 2. Two outs, and the batter now is Dawson. Dawson tonight is 0 for 2. Mahler trying to get out of the inning. He will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 383. And a 383, that's going to hit over to third base. Garvey will pick that one up, and he's going to drop that one. He'll bobble it, he'll drop it, and Dawson will be safe at first on the E5. Law will go to second. Second error on, actually, is that the second or the first error? First error on the Tigers tonight. Batter now is Francona. Francona tonight is 1 for 1 with a single and a walk. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Expos, 2 outs in the inning, though. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. A 243 against a lefty. 243 is going to be grounded over to short. Grabbing that one is going to be Baker. He will take that to second himself. That'll get Dawson. That will retire the side. A hit and an error, but the Expos aren't able to do anything with it. Actually, they had one run, a hit and an error. 6-0 Expos after 5. Checking the hand, making sure the camera's working, as Philip Anderson now joins us here at Olympic Stadium. And yes, indeed, big chance by the Expos, and if the Expos win tonight, they could still close this series at home. And I still think the Expos saw red after Game 3. Mickey Mahler is going to bat. The Tigers want him to eat up some innings. Smith will continue to pitch. Actually, we're going to get some activity in the Expos bullpen, as David Palmer is going to start getting loose for the Expos. And Philip, I don't think you were around when I mentioned this, but as of now, I'm penciling in the 1985 season recap and reveal show to be Sunday, April 20th, just so you're aware of that date. Smith will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and here comes the pitch. That is a 573. That'll be into left field. Going back for that one is Raines, and that'll be a nice, easy fly ball. Raines will make that catch with no problem. 1 out in the inning. Lemon, now the batter. Lemon tonight is 0 for 2. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. 6-0 Expos, top of the 6th. Smith will set, and he will pitch. That is a 380. 380 is going to get popped up on the infield. Going into foul territory for that one is Francona. He will make the catch. 2 outs in the inning. Two outs, and the batter now is Garvey. Garby's 0 for 2. He's grounded to Wallach twice. Smith looking in at Butera for the sign. He will set. Here's the kick. And here comes the pitch. A 244 against a righty. 244 is going to get grounded over to third. Once again, Wallach will get that one. He'll make the throw across the diamond, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Expos, or go the Tigers, I should say, in the top of the sixth. Excuse me, 6-0 Expos heading into the bottom of the sixth. Leading off the bottom of the sixth as Mahler finishes up his warm-up tosses is Butera. Butera's 0 for 1 with a walk tonight. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 176. 176 is a wild pitch. Ball 1. We will do it again. A 438 against a lefty. 438 is going to be a base hit into center field. Butera is not going to challenge that. Infield would normally go to double play depth, except the batter once again is Smith. Smith has 2 sacrifice hits, and he's going to square around to try the bunt again. The corners are going to come in expecting it. Mahler looking in at Parrish for the sign. Smith squaring around for the bunt. Mahler will set. Here's the pitch, and here's the bunt. Let's see, 12, 13, and 7 is 20. And 20 is going to be a good sacrifice over to first base. The only play Bergman will have is over to first to get Smith. 1 out in the inning as Butera goes to second. Batter now is Winningham. Winningham tonight is 0 for 2 with a sacrifice fly. 6-0 Expos, bottom of the sixth. But Montreal wants more. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 344 and a 344. Winningham gets frozen by a slider for strike 3. That is out number 2. Batter now is Brooks. Brooks tonight is 1 for 2. He's got a walk and a double tonight. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. 6-0 Expos, bottom of the sixth. Mahler will set, and he will pitch. That is a 497 against the lefty. 497 is going to be a fly ball into center field. Brooks just missed it. Lemon will get under that one. He'll make the catch, and that will retire the side. A hit and a sacrifice hit, but the Expos can't get anything out of it. Montreal, though, with a 6-0 lead after 6. Top of the seventh coming up, and Smith looking at the heart of the Tigers' order. Here's Gibson. Gibson is 0 for 2 tonight. Smith will get the sign from Butera. Fans at Olympic Stadium are rabid. Smith will set, and he will pitch. That is a 670. And a 670 is going to be grounded right back to Smith. He will throw that over to Francona. No funny business. 1 out in the inning. Whitaker, now the batter. Whitaker tonight is 0 for 2 in his return from his strained neck in Game 1. Smith will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and here comes the pitch. That is a 364, and that'll be a fly ball into left field. Raines tracks that one down. He's close to the track, but he'll have plenty of room to make that catch. Out number 2. Bergman, now the batter. Bergman is 1 for 2 with the only hit for Montreal tonight. So far, Smith will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and here comes the pitch. That is a 685, and a 685 is going to be a base hit for Bergman. That'll be the first point of fatigue on Smith. I'll get the spin down for that. Batter now is Parrish. Parrish tonight is 0 for 2. Smith trying to get out of the 7th. He will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 159, and a 159 is going to be a fly ball into right field. Dawson back near the track, but he'll have plenty of room to make that catch, and that will retire the side. Nothing across except the hit for the Expos, or for the Tigers, I should say. I keep saying Expos for some reason. 6-0 Expos as we head into the 7th inning stretch. Sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. I will take a small break. Don't forget, if you haven't already, go vote in the poll on my channel in the Posts tab for the Summer 2025 Project Selection Poll. The more votes a project gets, the more dice it'll roll during the 1985 Season Recap and Reveal show. And yes, indeed, we are cruising right along here, heading into the bottom of the 7th. We will be right back here tomorrow night for Game 5 of this 1985 World Series. It will be Dan Petrie starting for the Tigers. Final stretch to try and take a 3-1 series lead, indeed. And the Expos are up 6-0 right now. Dan Petrie will be going for the Tigers, and Bill Gullickson will be going for the Expos. The question, though, is will the Tigers be looking at a best of... Will we be starting a best of 3 series on Saturday, or will the Expos be trying to close out this World Series? We have 2.5 more innings, well, actually, as many as 2.5 innings more to go. But we will find that out here tonight. Expos are looking at the heart of the order. Leading off tonight is Raines. Raines is 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. He will set. Here's the windup, and here comes the pitch. That is a 122. That'll turn into a 322. And that'll be a seeing eye single for Raines. That'll get out. Actually, that'll be an infield single. Either way, Raines will be on to lead off the 7th. Infield at double play depth. Batter now is Law. Law is 2 for 3 with a single and a grand slam back in the 4th. Back in the 3rd. Yes. That put the Tigers in this predicament. Law's technically a better bunter, but his bat is hot tonight. Law's going to swing away. Raines, not a threat to steal. He will hold. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 318. And a 318. Law tries to do too much with a changeup. That is actually, Law gets frozen by the changeup. Strike 3. That is out number 1. Batter now is Wallach. Wallach tonight is 0 for 2 with a walk. Wallach has even more power than Law. Wallach will swing away. Mahler will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and here comes the pitch. That is a 362, and that'll be popped up on the infield. Going into foul territory is going to be Bergman. He will make the catch. 2 outs in the inning. Dawson, now the batter. Dawson is 0 for 2, but he reached on an error back in the 5th. Mahler trying to get out of the inning. He will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 245 against a righty. 245 is going to be grounded over to third. Grabbing that is going to be Garvey. He will throw that over second to get Rains, and that will retire the side. An infield single comes to nothing for the Expos, but Montreal still with a 6-0 lead after 7. Interesting season for the Expos and for the Tigers getting past the Yankees. Yes, indeed. I think the way the playoffs came in, we wrote both of these two teams off for dead in the early rounds of the playoffs. The Tigers had to go through the Royals at Kauffman Stadium, who eliminated them in 1991. But then the Expos had to go through both wildcard games on the road. But here we are with an all wildcard team World Series. Smith gets his warm-up tosses in. We're going to get some more activity in the Tigers' bullpen, as getting loose for the Tigers is going to be Francona Butera, probably a pinch hitter. Lefty, righty, and a possible pinch hitter. The Tigers are going to get Juan Berenger warming up. Leading off the top of the 8th is Herndon. Herndon tonight is 0 for 1 with a walk. Palmer continuing to throw, but Smith going to start the inning. Smith will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 3-11, and Herndon tries to do too much with a changeup. That is strike 3, out number 1. That was a bad cut Herndon took at that changeup. 1 out in the inning, and the batter now is Baker. Baker's 0 for 2 tonight. Smith pitching a gem tonight. He will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and here comes the pitch. That is a 5-24. That'll get popped up behind the plate. Butera will throw away his mask once he tracks it down. He'll make the catch for out number 2. Mahler is going to come out of the game. The Tigers are going to go to the bench. The Tigers... Who are the Tigers going to go to in this situation? Trammell does better against lefties. Evans is still hurt. Okay. Coming in to pinch hit for the Tigers once Digital Diamond decides it feels like catching up with me is going to be Marty Castillo. 119 average, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs in 85. Smith will get the sign from Butera. Fans at Olympic Stadium are loud. Smith will set, and he will pitch. That is a 485, and against a righty, 485 is going to get fly ball into center field. Tracking that one down is Winningham. He will make the catch, and that will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Tigers here in the top of the 8th. Expos still with a 6-0 lead heading into the bottom of the 8th. That should be on 1, not 5. That's the spin down for Bryn Smith's fatigue that I'm kind of cussing out right there. For the bottom of the order for the Expos, the Tigers need a pitcher. Coming in to pitch for the Tigers is going to be Juan Berenger. 5-6 with a 5.59 ERA, 95 innings pitched, 82 strikeouts, 48 walks, 12 home runs, and 85. Coming to the plate for the Expos is Francona. Francona tonight is 1 for 2 with a single and a walk. Berenger will get the sign from Parrish. Fans at Olympic Stadium are absolutely rabid. Berenger will set, and he will pitch. That is a 554. That'll be over to third base for Garby. And we need to check ratings-based defense. The red die is... Let's see. Red die is greater than his arm. How about his range? It's less than his range. Actually, it's less than his range. So that'll be a ground ball right to Garby. He will pick that one up, throw that over to first for out number 1. Butera, now the batter, once I get it on the business card holder. Butera tonight is 1 for 2 with a single and a walk as well. Berenger will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 649. That'll turn into a 659 and be grounded over to short. Baker will grab that one. He'll take his time, throw that over to second, out number 2. Smith is going to come out to bat here. The Expos are going to let him try to go the distance. Smith has got 3 sacrifice bunts tonight, but he's going to have to swing away. Berenger will get the sign from Parrish. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 145. And Smith's going to swing through a changeup for strike 3. That will retire the side. 1, 2, 3 go the Expos here in the bottom of the 8th. Montreal still with a 6-0 lead. But we now have the age-old question to answer in front of us of, will we see some 9th inning magic? The Expos bench is telling Bryn Smith, this game is yours. Go put us on the cusp of a World Series championship. They're going to let Smith try to go the distance. Leading off for the Tigers is Lemon. Lemon tonight is 0 for 3. Smith has been pitching a gem tonight. Palmer is waiting in the wings just in case Smith starts to run into trouble. Smith will get the sign from Butera. He will set, and he will pitch. That is a 289 against a righty. Uh-oh. Lemon's into one that's deep to center field. Lemon with a power of a 7. Does he cut into this Tigers deficit? He won't cut into it, but he will get on with a base hit to center field. That'll drop in front of Winningham for a single. And that'll be the second point of fatigue against Smith. Infield will go to double play depth. Garby, now the batter. Garby's 0 for 3. He's grounded to Wallach all 3 times. Lemon not going anywhere. Smith will get the sign from Butera. Fans at Olympic Stadium are rabid. Smith will set, and he will pitch. That is a 588. That's Winningham. And that'll drop in front of Winningham. That'll be a base hit. Lemon could try to advance, but he's not going to. Gibson, now the batter. Gibson tonight is 0 for 3, but the Expos aren't going to take any chances here. That is going to be it for Smith. They are going to go to the bullpen. Smith starting to get into a little bit of trouble. More trouble than I think the Expos are comfortable with right now. So they're going to go to the bullpen for this one. Smith had a hell of a performance tonight, and you can't argue with me on that point. Coming in to pitch for the Expos is going to be David Palmer, 7-10 with a 3.71 ERA, 135 and 2/3 innings pitched, 106 strikeouts, 67 walks, 5 home runs in 85. And just in case the Expos run into further trouble, Jeff Reardon is going to start getting loose for the Expos in the bullpen. Palmer will look in at Butera for the sign. He will set. Here's the kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 5-30. That'll be grounded over to Francona. That'll be a ground ball over to Francona. He'll throw that over to Brooks at second to get Garby. Here comes the relay back from Garby. That is in time. That is a 3-6-3 double play. Lemon will make third, but there are 2 outs in the inning. Stadium cheers. Yay! That is a huge double play for the Expos. And the last chance for the Tigers tonight comes to Lou Whitaker. Whitaker tonight is 0 for 4 in his return from a neck injury. Expos get this out. They have a chance to win the World Series on Saturday. Tigers get Whitaker on. Bergman comes to the plate, but the Tigers still need a lot of help. Palmer will get the sign from Butera. Olympic Stadium is rabid. They are on their feet. Palmer will set. He will kick, and here comes the pitch. That is a 196. And a 196 is going to be a bloop single that'll get out of the infield. There goes the team shutout. Lemon will score. Whitaker will go to first. 6-1 in favor of the Expos. Batter now is Bergman. Bergman tonight is 2 for 3 with 2 singles. Stadium doesn't even bother groaning because they've still got 5 runs to play with, and now another force play set up at second. Palmer gets the sign from Butera. Olympic Stadium still loud. Palmer will set, he will kick, and he will pitch. A 442 against a righty. 442. It's grounded over to second. Grabbing that is Law. He will throw that over to, he'll pump once, pump twice, throw to first. That's your game. The Montreal Expos take this one by a final score of 6-1. And with that comes the 3-1 series lead for the Expos. Stadium cheers. Yay! Final line score coming up. Bryn Smith got lifted in the top of the ninth after letting both of the first 2 runners on. Just in case you're wondering what happened there. For the Expos, 6 runs on 6 hits and no errors. For the Tigers, 1 run on 5 hits and 1 error. Winning pitcher tonight is going to be Bryn Smith. He will pick up the win. Jack Morris will take another loss. And that will do it for Game 4 of this 1985 World Series. Montreal, now with a 3-1 series lead, they have a chance to close this out on Saturday in Game 5, where we'll have Bill Gullickson starting for the Expos against Dan Petrie starting for the Tigers. Before that, Mystical Munchies will start out of the Can You Take the Heat cookbook with the appetizer, Blackjack Lanza's Mandarin Orange and Rice Noodle Salad. Sunday, we're starting the spring campaign in Arkham Horror, the card game, with the first scenario of Edge of the Earth, as we're doing Ice and Death. Wednesday, we're going to be doing a ticker tape test for Stratomatic Hockey. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone. The Montreal Expos bounce back from their first home loss in this postseason to take Game 4 by a final score of 6-1. They lead the series 3-1, and can win the World Series tomorrow here at Olympic Stadium. Once again, take care, and I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon.